The Proposal, A New Arrival, Dao Buddha, by Medusa DB Loveheart, Part 5. Just like waves in the ocean, your sex life goes up and down. Some people love to surf the waves a lot while others less often. All of us loves it while we are surfing most of the time. Unfortunately, has the taboo so strong effect that most of us experienced bad sex more than it should be needed to. Sex truly is a social skill with just as many variations of tastes as there is music styles. What people seem to forget is that first you must understand yourself, then you are more able to understand your partner. The best sex is rarely the one-night stand, even though even there you will have greater chances for great awesome sex by knowing and understanding yourself, and being able to communicate that to your partner in a way so that both of you can read each other. The better you become in reading your partner, the better the sex will be. The more people understand each other, the better they will be in enjoying each other. The more you enjoy each other, the more will your engine shift direction from your own lusts towards the other person's lusts. Eventually, you will be turning on the other person's lusts, who also will turn on your lusts, and by reaching there, creating a perfect yin and yang variable where two people become each other's engine and fuels for the turn-on factor that now works in a spiral upwards of lusts. This is the result of two or more versatile lovers. People that prefer to shift with roles of passiveness and activeness, blending them together and creating a harmony in a dance of lust, passion, and erotica. Erotica being any kind of experience from erotica and its element. Unlike dance, sex can twirl and spin, and leadership become chaser and catchers, yin and yang. Sex can be like a perfect harmony in communication where all parts both hear, see and read its partner/s, acting on knowledge both random and deliberately, teasing and enjoying each other and making love uninhibited. Letting your partner's lust guide your moves and directions by reading each other. Every second of every move and every breath. By understanding how good you actually are making your partner/s feel and how good you feel. By allowing you to enjoy yourself with more senses. By accepting your brilliance in life and letting your lust guide you for a change. Today people spend more time of life with chasing sex rather than having it. And since people are all so obsessed by being a good chaser or hunter, when times comes for sex, it's hardly even worth remembering. People go out in the evening, does nothing but drinking, looking and thinking about getting some that evening. But no one dares to stand up for that need and say the truth, so that the people involved could have a great night of sex with loads of wonderful experiences. But no, let's all wait till I'm so drunk that I can't sustain the moment anymore. Then if you actually manage to find someone, you're too drunk to remember if it was any good anyway. Why not just do it first then? If you still feel like going out meeting very drunk people, you simply chose to go out again. If people spent more time on having sex rather than pretending they are all some sort of better people by sucking on a particular skill, we wouldn't have to worry so much if the sex will be bad or good anymore. Hello? Wake up. Sex is a skill, and if you don't practice it, your sex life will always be bad throughout your entire life and is no one else's fault but yours. You can't expect to win a skiing downhill race just because you have bought the skis. Just like you don't get black belt in karate just because you buy a black colored belt. You have to train in a skill in order to become advanced in it, no matter what the skill is. Just like any other skill, for some people it comes easier, and others will have to train a little bit more. Only thing with this skill is that everybody can understand it no matter in what country you are from. Just like music is a universal language, so is sex. Except sex is a melody without a language to understand. Figuratively speaking, that is. But sex is still done with the same prerequisite and mutual understanding of how it feels and is like to experience. Even though we have this situation with people that doesn't have become so advanced and haven't taken the opportunity to explore the domain of sex, people that haven't understood that it's a part of the human anatomy and skill set for all people, so they simply don't understand and chose to act upon it. People that have been filled with so much hate that they actually have no problems in hurting others, even as badly as in killing others, just because they are less advanced in the sexual skill than the person they needed to project their anger at. Which is a quite odd behavior in my opinion, since they themselves are equipped with the exact same skill set. That's just how the animal human is wired. Just waiting to be explored. We never know what the future holds before us. We never know what tomorrow has to show us. We can always assume and predict, but never know for sure. But we can take aim in certain direction, and from there navigate our way to the future point of decisions. Today I must say that the people I have met within the so-called HBD community, homosexual, bisexual and transsexual, All seem to know that fact of how reproduction is being done, and as far as I am concerned, all of us learned that before we were 10 years old and isn't really that big of a deal for us. We don't consider simple facts like sex is both a reproducing skill and a social skill as rocket science. What's a bit surprising is that many people that amends the heterocyclic standard, which is mostly nothing else but a vague ripoff and translation from old religious standards. There are people among these people that seem to believe that reproduction is some sort of rocket science. I don't know when they learned that or what it is that makes them believe that just because they have been able to figure out that humans are depending on a male sperm and a female egg interfering with each other in order to reproduce. All of the HBTQ people figure this out in the age between 5 and 10. Why does the so-called hetero people keep it as rocket science? Everybody knows how to reproduce. Even people that has a great taste for the same sex. It's the hetero male population that lacks in skills of advanced sex, not the homosexuals that lacks the possibility to reproduce. Even a so-called homosexual may make the choice to have sexual intercourse with an opposite sex in order to raise children, and by doing that also maintain a continual existence. It's the so-called heterosexual male part of the population that are the ones that has drawn the shortest straw when it comes to skill sets of sexual pleasure. How sad that fact might be, the truth still remains that the heterosexual are the ones missing out on sexual stimuli. Rather than being superior, they are actually the ones missing out experiences in this case. Unfortunately, even the HBTQ community is suffering from pride in a shameful way. There is a lot of gay people that consider themselves as better being because they have made a journey by coming out of the closet that the hetero never needs to experience. It's true that it makes a person grow a lot, but that doesn't mean you should fall for the same old mentality trap. Also, the pride is about realizing the truth about human anatomy. Pride is a huge subject in the HBTQ world, and most are healthy about it, but even here pride with dignity is a lesson needed. We are all victims beneath pride, and we all need to treat it with care and respect. There is nothing new about the facts of that we all can learn to enjoy the art of the advanced sexual skill anal sex in the HBTQ community. Throughout the entire life, the one time when you feel as good as you possibly can, when you feel the very absolutely best, when you are at the peak of climax and well-being during your entire lifetime is the very second when you're having an orgasm, the moment just before and when the actual release of the endorphins takes place. If you take the time of all the times you reach that point of feeling good in your entire lifetime and put it together, you will realize it's quite little part of your life that you actually feel that good. A quite scary thought in my own opinion, but sadly it's true. And it's the one and only thing we have in common apart from all being born, and that all of us come from our mothers. All over this planet, in every country, all 7 billion of us have sex. Not in the same time, but in our lifetimes. That's the one and only thing that we all completely understand in the same direction and know together. We all have it happening to us. And we do it quite often. There is no secret. It's a natural part of our needs and behaviors. That's how we exist, but it's also more than just reproduction. We create kids in less than 0.01%, or even less time of all of the times having orgasms, when counted all together as time in life. Basically, sex is also a natural need just like air, with the minor detail that we can actually live a complete life without it on the cost of reproduction and well-being. It's in our DNA. It doesn't matter if we get bombed back in time for several million years. We would still succeed in reproduction. It's just another part of the animal human. Humans are also animals. We live and breathe on the same planet as many other species and life forms exist on. The human being is over-equipped with sexual triggers, everything from all your senses including our eyes, which plays a quite big role for our sake, since that's the sense that we are absolutely best on and less good on the other senses due to our heavy rely on the eyes and what information it collects and registers. Not only what the eye can see, but also what the eye can project. Depending on your senses skills, you are able to actually feel that the eye as well are projecting a sort of wave. With the right amount of awareness, you will most probably be able to control information exchange if you chose to while in eye contact. It might have to be done with help of chemicals before it's done, but it is a part of who we are as well. An orgasm is the most beautiful thing you can ever give another person, estimated in time in relation towards your very own relational timeline. It is by far the best feeling you can ever have. Money makes you feel good. An orgasm makes you feel great. As the last warlock, I have a habit of collecting keys in Metaverse, and today it's quite an impressive collection I have. The keys open up portals, doorways, chests, boxes, and other obstacles in metaverse that may be equipped with a lock. I even open up secrets from humans with my keys. It's in my nature to collect them since revealing the truth is what I do. If you ever find something that needs to be opened, I'm the one to go to. Some things I'll need to bring with me to my personal cube located in metaspace, far away from everything else in order to be able to open it, since the content might be out of harmful nature. This cube of mine is something I have achieved in metaverse pathing and have been selected to have one of my own. It's a cube out of enormous proportion, and it's located among hundreds of other similar cubes that other achievers have been gifted. It's a place to practice metacrafting as well as storing personal objects. The place is very unique and has been a hard achievement from my side. I have achieved an ascending for my original soul that's now a part of Adam and exist. It has made way for the several cores of my soul I have today. I was allowed to keep all my memories, which is good for me. The soul is unlimited, so it wasn't really a necessity for me in means of space or room, but that's the way it is. To explore the soul is an exciting experience. You should always do it slowly, one step at a time, so you don't hurt yourself by haste or misapprehension. We live in a lifetime where we will reach a new milestone in our very own evolutionary timeline. We live in a lifetime that will go to history in our own evolution. We all become heroes. We all decided to save the world and our existence upon it. To save not only the human race, but the very start in the knowledge that we can actually bring life further and not just choose to ruin it like we do right now. We are going to have to be smart and to live in some sort of harmony with each other. And guess what? We are not only smart, but we are also brilliant. If you wonder why I use big and small letters a little bit of everywhere, it's not because I'm screaming as in chat language, but that's the value of that variable. That shows the shape of its truth as well as value. Actually, it's quite calm and soft the way it's used. Don't forget how much it would cost. Because it will cost money. Think about it. We would need to change all our cash registers. Our cash as well, but that's already a part of our system. We change them continuously over the years, even if it's still the same currency. Our economy needs it in order to work. Our economy. Our very own creation of a trading system. But isn't this a bit creepy? This all means that you, yes you reading this, right here right now, you are a part of my equation as well. Because wouldn't you want to be able to say that your entire life and everything you ever believed is completely worthless, or even better, totally meaningless? Because that's what your life will be. If we chose not to save this possibility in life that we actually have. And not just that your life is meaningless, but our complete existence. Or, are you one of those bitches that want to be able to say that your life has a meaning? That our existence is out of good and not bad? I mean, today our behavior is best equalized with a moronic parasite. I saw a movie on YouTube where you can see our planet throughout our timeline and how we have grown in population. The movie strongly reminds you of a disease or a cancer tumor, or if you leave something opened in a fridge for a few weeks, and when you open you see that it will be covered in mold. Completely useless and most definitely not eatable. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, for crying out loud. This is the life you are actually choosing right now. And yes, that's exactly the era we are heading for. The awakening, that is. Today, we can have enormous hangar ship up and running for quite long time now without having to refuel them. They are running on nuclear energies. I don't remember for how many years, but quite some time it is. We also know how to transfer that technology into space. We know how to produce air for long times as well without refilling for long times. Nuclear is quite dangerous for us, but its energy could be extremely vital for our future existence. With the knowledge we have today, we could easily create a small base on Mars in order to be able to run dangerous tests for science and evolutionary possibilities. Maybe not to be used long-term on everything we have an opportunity to explore and destroy our existence, but as in common sense, just like we use it today. It won't be a very long time before we actually can tell our friends that we are going to live and work with fuel extraction and processing on a base station on the moon. We are ready to start populating other space bodies other than Earth. It will take some time, sure. But that's what we are going to do. We will start with smaller projects like the space station we already have built out in space. Today it isn't many people that work out there in space. The positive thing with building a space station on a planet is that it's healthier and people can stay there for longer times since it has gravity. Eventually those stations will grow, and become larger. And while that established on the moon, mining for better fuel will be easier. Moons will probably become space harbors where you can refuel and easier produce large-scale ships due to the environmental circumstances such as lower gravity force and less atmosphere to take in consideration while landing and taking off. When dealing with advanced technologies such as gravity and reversed gravity, the scale of a ship is probably too large and too difficult to deal with here if you need to keep the Earth's atmosphere in consideration. We are most likely looking at constructions that's in the size of maybe 10 times of the today's existing Sealords, the aircraft carriers from the U.S. Navy. We are looking at spacecraft carriers that will never enter an atmosphere itself, but using smaller vessels in order to enter and load off and on people or whatever supply that's needed, creating smaller societies of people that will be special in the same way sailors and submarine people are. Later on, we will all be able to travel and work wherever we feel like as well. Space is its own unique ocean with its own ecosystem. This is visions of far ahead in the future. Some planets will probably start out as mining colonies, while others we actually succeed in moving life to. In the beginning, it will be a result out of our natural behavior, our needs and curiosity, and after a while, also a need due to us growing in population. Later in the evolutionary timeline, we will most likely be able to control/coexist more harmonic and predicted of both the forces of nature as well as the adjusting of planets and moons' positions to each other. The first large structures on a moon or planet without similar atmospheres as Earth will probably be in conjunction with a mountain wall or within craters where large cupolas are built on top of them so that we easily can create an inside atmosphere while relative protected from outside weathers and storms. Once the layered cupola is in place, we will be able to create safety blocks and other precautions in order to make the environment as safe as possible. When we created those kinds of areas to exist, and we will be able to create reproduction air systems and water systems, as well as creating landscapes of simulated nature conditions here on Earth. With all in place, we will be able to start mine and manufacture things without having to go through all the steps in bringing it from Earth, or at least to a much greater extent when it comes to expanding possibilities to become self-going. Plants will gain new purposes when it comes to the abilities for the cycle of nurturing the soil as much as existing in it, such as the hemp. Hemp has loads of important abilities for not just a natural fuel or producing textiles, but also for the soil itself. It might be outdated for now here on Earth, but that plant has way too much of important functionalities for future scenarios, so it's extremely irresponsible to dismiss it over a fact as it being a soft drug as well. What does planets and moons have to do with each other then? Quite a lot, to be more specific. It has always been a big part of the foundation of all life upon this planet. The moons create an opposite gravitation field that helps us grow and be as tall as we are. Our existence and the opportunities of life existence in relation to our basic needs such as air, water, sun, nature, also depends on the very same conditions. Nature is a must for us to exist. It's all the green woods and plants and bushes that creates our air that we breathe. In the water, we have all the plankton that also are extremely important for our existence. The sky isn't just our limits, it's our only limit. Life is estimated to have existed for about 3.5 billion years on this planet when looking upon the life in its simplest structure. During that time, our species, or the human predecessors, has been dated as far back as 2.5 million years. Through archaeology, Homo sapiens has existed for about 200,000 years or so. According to science, the moon has an opposite gravity field that makes the water level rise and sink on our planet, and that the moon has been moving away from our planet with 1 centimeter a year. So, we have a timely condition there of what's needed for our atmosphere, as well all life that exists in our version of existence. We have a specific need of gravity so that all shapes, forms, and consistencies remain on Earth, intact and alive. The dinosaur might probably die out just as much because of the long time change of gravity. Just like Earth has a gravity field, so does the moon, causing the tide. And since they are moving away from each other, the opposite gravity field from Earth has weakened and apparently life grows smaller, even if it's in the long time this happens, and here I'm relating to the dinosaurs and their gigantic sizes. The only animals that still exist from that era are animals close to the ground like the alligator and turtles, and some birds as well as water animals. Last but not the least, nature itself. We are talking millions and millions of years here. The reason the dinosaurs died out are disputed, but one reason is their bones become too heavy for the muscles due to gravity change from the moon moving away from Earth and so on, new blood diseases, and new conditions in the nature for our entire ecosystem. Today we live in some strange illusion that one thing must exclude another. It seems like we have some fixed idea that, if it's like this, it can't be like that as well. Truth is it's the opposite way as well. Nothing excludes something else. It all exists in the same frame of space, time, and movement, in the relative truth we exist in. Most likely just like it is for us now. The dinosaurs died because of several factors in a big nice mess that altogether caused their extinction. We will destroy our planet and our existence in this opportunity of life. Not only by our ever to fast-growing population on this planet, but also how sadly we treat our nature here. Not to mention the factors of nature that also has an evolutionary timeline just like we do. So, we will have the conditions needed by collecting that information from the evolutionary timeline where we have existed for about 200,000 years, depending on how you choose to interpret it. By doing that, we will be able to see what kind of nature we need to recreate or to be expected by reading the conditions we have had during our existence. We will see new life forms as in other type of animals, as well as other types of vegetation in future evolution. We will also meet new life forms as in alien life forms. That will be far into the future. After a while, when we start to populate other sky bodies, we will probably start to see cities that will look like the undersea world cities you have seen illustrated in any of our movies that we have today. Space and water have much in common when it comes to behavior of atmosphere. And eventually the location will start to get new conditions in its atmosphere, nature-wise, and we will be able to affect its process more and more. We already know how to create both oxygen and water. And when we are able to build factories that can create that on a planet, things will light up majorly. No more need of refill of air or water, and we will need to know everything about the nature's kingdom. What plants are the best for production of healthy soil? Which ones can be stretched in its own condition in this existence? We must understand everything about our own conditions and its dependencies. We must respect nature for our own evolution. In all life that exists on this planet, there is great knowledge in DNA, as well as in chemically, structures, and behavior. We have to become nature's caretakers for real. If we look on the appearance of ourself on this planet in the evolutionary timeline, we see some change in the appearance. In the beginning, then we stood up straight and had more or less the same shape of the human beings we are today. A couple of hundreds of thousand years later, we have looked the same. In the long distant future, we will again change our form and shape. In our evolutionary timeline, we have seen many extraordinary breakthroughs and lots of eras/ages where we made major progress by inventing or discover something new. Just these last 2,000 years has been extremely eventful. If we chose to let ourselves exist, we have just as much left and so much more. We will find new dimensions, new evolutionary timelines in other life forms, new energies, new possibilities, and new technologies. We will colonize several planets and systems. We will master life and all its possibilities in all dimensions and timelines. We will be able to make it so that we can have different lifestyles on different planets. We will be able to choose what life forms we need to be able to initiate in order to keep moving in the right directions. In the means of evolutionary directors. Truth is, we can direct our future in any direction we want. We are going to have to understand, respect, and coexist with far more trickier stuff than what we deal with today. Today we are afraid of people from the opposite sex. We are afraid of people with different colors on their skin. Afraid of people with different tastes in sexual orientations and skills. And all this causes us more problems than it ever needed to be. All this because we lack the ability to understand, accept, and respect our own true nature. We fail to understand how broad and wide our own species is in its nature, how extremely advanced the human being actually is. We fail to understand how extremely advanced the ecosystem is that we exist in and depends completely on. The anatomy and DNA on every single living object in life is a map in DNA and the understanding of what's needed to exist in that particular condition. How to create life energies from mud or by breathing water, or what type of diseases can we control by choice and mix with different blood types and substances. How does the regeneration DNA work on the sea star? How does the signal system DNA work for the bat and the dolphin? Every different species we have here on this planet, every flower, every tree, All the sea life contains a unique map set of DNA. And all this is knowledge that we will need to contribute to greater possibilities in the future. The more life we have here on Earth, the more we will be able to see and understand all our possibilities. The more we will understand and how to bring the opportunity of life further to other planets and systems. Even with all that, we still have so much more to reveal and discover. Eternity is a huge expression in that way. We will have many choices in the future of our very own evolutionary timeline. Through understanding DNA structures, as well as discovering new possibilities. Once we know how to bring life further to other planets and systems, we will be able to deal with factors such as eternal life, and also cross-species of ourself that has stronger abilities of survival in harsh environments. It will probably be in a few hundred years we will be able to see the first predator for real. Through DNA, we can understand how different life mechanisms works in different biologies. By understanding all there is about life, we will understand how to direct it in any way we like in our future. The more different paths of truth we can find out, the more and better paths will we be able to walk, and to do that in whatever direction we like it to be. Just like today. Only then we will be a couple of billion working in the very same direction for each planet and lifestyles. And we will all do it one step at a time. We already have everything that we need in order to accomplish a task as big as this one. Maybe now you start to see why our diversity is our greatest strength. We are afraid of the fact that when we know everything, there isn't anything left to know. As if life ends there like some slot machine that suddenly says game over. That will never happen. What's true though is that this planet will explode into the sun, and there is pretty little we can do about it. The universe doesn't give a damn if we are here or not. That I also believe we can agree on. However, the choice is still ours to make, however we want to do something about it or not. Our existence, that is. We already know how to travel in space, and we have already started to talk about mining fuel on the moon, even though we realize it's far to that point. It will happen eventually. Why is it so important then that we already today start to think about all this? Well, we will become space journeymen one day, and we are going to have to abandon this planet before the first solar storm reaches it. That's much sooner than when the planet actually explodes into the sun. And if we don't already today start to think about this future, that future might not come to happen as rich as possible or at all. The way we live today is a consumer's planet where there is no room for future awareness, and it will lead to prematurely extinction of life from this planet. Because we will have to leave this planet and become space journeymen, and that will happen whether we like it or not. We must raise our awareness about this in time. And that time is already now, because we have reached a point where we are almost overpopulating the planet when it comes to use of resources and coexistence with planetary life forms. We too will journey space looking for other evolutions, observing them to reach this very step of coexistence with universe. Some planets will we occupy, but most will we let evolution have its own path. If you compare our existence on our evolutionary timeline, you will see that another type of species was able to live on our planet during other conditions earlier. On this very planet than what we have today. So different species isn't really that strange a phenomena for us actually. Boredom is sometimes confused with peacefulness. Truth is peace can be fun as hell. And we can live in controlled forms with quite much fun in harmonic ways. We will redirect our greed away from money with the help of a new better economy that's based on evolutionary time. That will result in better standards and with a higher tolerance of diversity in a very positive direction. We will become more and more aware about ourselves in the future as well as our surrounding, and the way we are built, we are over-equipped with loads of different teasing system that keeps us alert and in constant movement in our evolution. Today's suggestions about 6 hours workdays seems impossible due to the current economy system. Truth is it's very possible if we start to understand the value of our own existence. If we could see the point in being able to provide work to as many people as possible. Money is nothing more than a reward system that we have in place because of our evolutionary needs long time ago. We were tired of needing a cow in order to get some sort of product. In that way, money is a great invention. Unfortunately, there is a lot of flaws in that system that differentiate the value of human lives depending on location on this planet. Of some reason, we choose to believe that the amount of these paper pieces and metal bits is what's the best for our future, our evolution, our existence. And that's where we are directing our greed today. Wouldn't it be more reasonable to direct the very same energy of greed that's our greatest engine rather than towards money as we do today, towards what's actually best for our very own future? The ecosystem of finance we have today has already proved to collapse itself, and that's exactly how bad the ecosystem of finance we have is today. We are living in new conditions these days, and that's just the way it is for all of us. It's not like there isn't anything that could be better directly in how things are done today. Truth is there is quite much that can be done, and we will do it for only one thing, and that is our own evolution with all its dependencies. For our entire lifetime. Don't we exist just as much when we are babies? Isn't our childhood the most important part we have in our lifetime? The kids are always our future. Why isn't that reflected in our economy? Isn't it so that we exist just as much when we grow old as well? Exactly how are we thinking here? Life doesn't start when you are 25 and then ends when you get retired. We live from the day we are born till the day we die, and everything else is a lie. Why aren't we able to reward these two important areas? We actually have systems in place, and then we have chosen to make them practically worthless to most of us. What exactly was the plan there? We exist just as much old as young, and when we are young we benefit from all the help we can get, and so does the old. We are still capable to feel just as much as when we are between 15 and 65. All over the world we have problems with unemployment, we have issues with class differences, we have major equality issues because we don't understand our own nature. We can choose to exist in any way we like, and we chose among the worst alternative there is. What exactly is going on in our minds? Why are we being such a sadistic nature with self-destruction as our main goal? We chose to destroy it. Seriously, how smart is that? How smart is it to choose to behave like a parasite when it is our predatory behavior that makes us so proud? The predator lives a life in harmony with the rest of its kin, while the crazy parasite we prefer kills everything that comes in its way till there is no more to consume on that planet, and then it dies itself. Yes, that's correct. It dies, and its whole existence becomes meaningless. Because everything you lived for and believed in, as well as your parents, your friends, your partner, and all they lived and believed in, children, grandparents, and all they lived and believed in, everything you ever seen or heard, everything you have ever known, said or sung, everything in life we know of will be gone. Total waste of time. That's all it is. You and your life will mean squat nada. We are coming to a new time now, a new era, and it's about acceptance. High tolerance. It's time for us all to wake up. We are coming to a time when we must understand and learn responsibilities in preserving life and its existence. A time where we must stop hold our evolution back. A time where we must see the strength in our diversity. A time for us to accept ourselves of who we truly are. A time to see the true us and all our capabilities. Not just to see the fact that we know how to be greedy and destructive. We are our true own creators. We have been directing and creating our own evolution as long as we existed. That's our true nature. The strongest wins, and the natural choice that Mr. Charles Darwin once talked about, and he was right then. However, the truth doesn't end there. Now we do live under new circumstances, and most problems are solved peacefully, as well as the informational time age itself. Unfortunately, that's not the only thing we are. We are also the smartest creature, and I'm not arguing with the dolphin now in all its brightness and excellence, but as in possibility-wise, curiosity, flexibility, and visionary-wise. What we actually have been able to do with ourselves and our own evolutionary timeline so far. We are curios, we invent, we discover and unclothe truths. We twist and turn on possibilities till we can find new areas of truths and facts out of it. We are not parasites. Why do we look up to that behavior as a god? I can't understand. We can do whatever we want with our future. So why do we choose a parasite as lifestyle? I thought we were supposed to be smart, intelligent, top of the line, and superior. Why doesn't that math sum up? There is no sense whatsoever in following a parasite lifestyle. Comedians are probably one of the most important people we have today. You see, our laughter tells us the truth about our social well-being. When you laugh from your heart, your laughter sings different melodies. Just like the jokes can be hysterical, twisted, weird, dirty, sickening, and so on, so is the melody of laughter itself. For us, it's actually more of a behavior rather than coincidence. We laugh at the words of perceived truth as a natural behavior, in other words. And that, my friend, could have been very dangerous for the church, or so they thought at least. The danger they feared was us laughing at the wrong direction, in a direction that could hurt themselves, their religion. If you start to observe, you will notice that the health of today's well-being and our opportunity of life isn't probably as good as you liked it to be. Comedians are sort of a floating static control in how different realities we actually exist in, and that's quite constant. The laughter in combination with the storyline, when it's combined to, you get lots of information about things that we find true about our valuations in life. You can read how distant certain mentalities are with themselves by evaluating the value of the sum of content and type of laughter, melody-wise. Not only comedians are important, but also comedy itself in our everyday life. Every location has different mood sets and mentalities that grow stronger in relation to the people being there. Every mood you have colorized the melody you react with, and every context colors the perception of your mentality. Every type of sense of humor reveals different facts. We have irony, that is a two-based component with one true and one false plate. Both statements are in opposite to what's actually being communicated. In irony, you switch places with true and false, and with the choice of melody and the voice we see in what direction that statement is in. With humor, we can read what our society is like, what our taboos are, and where our real problems actually are. And the formula is a comparison of the melody and behavior and content of the event, triggering the laughter with the melody and behavior of the laughter itself. We are like open books if you put effort and time in reading and understanding human behavior and body languages. The melody from the heart tells us more than we think about where we are with ourself. Joy and happiness are something we all strive for in our existence and isn't always so easy to attain. To be able to scratch the surface and see below it, to reach an understanding of what truly makes us happy, isn't just a walk in the park. True soul-searching serves us many purposes in life. One is to be able to know and understand where and what true joy is for yourself, and not just what you are supposed to enjoy. If you don't find your true self, the chances are that you just live in a charade where your heartily matter is just an illusion of what's truly your inner joys and happiness. If you don't make this journey in yourself, the chances are quite big that you one day have a breakdown and gets a crash course in who you are in a less healthy way. True soul-searching is an investment in yourself and your well-being, and should be done a few times in your life since you evolve, and must take the change in consideration when being who you are. Joy and happiness aren't just about yourself, but your surrounding as well. To be able to enjoy others' success as well-doings is just as important. When you know who you are and see the reality within yourself, your happiness will come easier to you, and your self-satisfaction will grow on a solid foundation. To do the mistake and only do your life will bring you more trouble and worries in the long time than it's worth. Your false variables of happiness will under the surface bring you envy and agony if you only do your life and try to live as people expect you to. To achieve happiness, you must invest time in your own self-awareness and see the truth about your entire picture from the roots and up. Happiness is a settlement with your inner expected desires and well-being. The more you are able to direct happiness to your well-being without the desires, the happier you will become in the long run. The true foundation of happiness is always yourself, and not the exterior of materials that comes from your desire. High expectations result in a more frequent disappointment rather than the achievement of temporary happiness, because that's all your desire can give you. Temporary happiness, whereas the happiness based on yourself and well-being is more constant. Don't fool yourself with the greed of money. It won't make you happy, only more at ease if you are able to settle with what you have. No matter where you are in life, if you can't settle with what you have, you won't be able to reach true happiness. There is nothing wrong with being successful and to reach for more than you have, but it will always be at cost of happiness if you can't appreciate what you already have and have accomplished. Don't mix happiness with the satisfaction of greed. Greed is a strong engine and is a powerful tool when utilized with sense and balance, which is a hard achievement to accomplish. Relations today has an average age of 5 to 10 years. We have laws that differentiate humans by sex and by what they love. What is going on here? Why don't we all have the same laws when we all live in the same opportunity? Why is it so hard to understand that people are different? Honey, it's a fact. People are different. Sorry if someone else told you differently. That's just the way it is. We are all equally equipped with heart and mind. We are sexual in all directions. Ourself, same sex, opposite sex, group sex, orgies, fetish sex, and love games. It's just a matter of taste and boundaries. No matter the sex of both, we cannot neglect the truth that we will always be different, and that our diversity is as natural as nature can be. We are created with diversity, and that's something we should embrace. Isn't it so that the experience of a lifetime is what we live for? During our life experiences is all what's left when we look back in time. And when we look here and now, we are experiencing in this right now. During our lifetime we feel good and we feel bad, and it will always be like that. We will always have ups and downs, but we can choose where to have them. We can choose on what wave and in what direction we will have them. Today we live so many different kinds of lifestyles, and the foundation of marriage isn't really what it used to be. To get married you do because you have great feelings of love, or at least that's what you should do. You choose to commit yourself with someone else, but today, we have chosen to lock our situation to only choosing to live with one other person. Fact is, today many people are having other choices and choose the lifestyle of polyamory or a swinger, for example. Polyamory is a more natural way of life where you admit your love to have no boundaries with several partners, where love for not only opposite sex but both sexes are an obvious way of life, and also amending both the male and the female in you. I was polyamory in all directions. Perhaps that's obvious, and I'm proud of it. Why are we so afraid to accept those truths as they are? Why do we have so hard to accept the truth and to see the reality as it is rather than pretend it never happens? We are humans. We have different lifestyles. Simple as that. Sexuality is a big matter to everyone today, no matter if you are straight, gay, bi, or transsexual. And our one and only true sexuality is sexual. There are no physical law or no biological locks that prevents us from having sex with someone from the same sex, and the nerve's anatomy for the anus is exactly the same in functionality for everyone. The anus is just as much part of our sexual system as our penis and vagina is. However, reproduction sex is just like it always have been needs of being opposite partners. Raising kids in form of adoption works just as fine no matter if you're gay or hetero. Reproduction sex only occurs a few times during a lifetime. All the rest is for pleasure, sexual electricity, easement, and love in life. You cannot estimate a sexual orientation's normality on such slim basis such as reproduction sex. The higher and greater our understanding in life, and all what it is, the more we will respect and adore it. We will need cause and reason to do this, and the reason is that this is exactly how advanced we can become. We can all become total aware. That's just as much part of our existence as everything else is today. It's a part of our evolution. It's one of the facts we have unrevealed, and it's there. It's just another side of the very same fact. It's just a piece of reality and how diverse and exceptional the human being is as an animal. We are a part of this planet's ecosystem. We cannot be without the nature because it gives us more than just the air. Our existence depends on it. It stimulates in our minds and well-being. It provides us food, air, chemicals, gasoline, minerals, wood, adventure, relaxation, change of environment, experiences, challenges, and in everything there is a piece of knowledge and a piece of understanding. Pieces that have all been revealed or invented by ourselves. Just like all the books we have ever read is written by human hand. Otherwise, we might just hope that they are near. 'Cause then we are a part of their evolution just like they are part of ours, and are probably very friendly. Since they were kind enough to leave a book that is written by human or alien hand, doesn't really matter since we can only at this moment take care of what's here and our prerequisite for our continuing existence. In order to deal with the future, we must first be able to deal with our own truth. We must be able to accept ourselves as we are. If we can't shake hand with ourselves, we will not be able to shake hands with each other, even less with other types of life forms and species. Even if that might be as far as a couple of thousands more years, it might as well be earlier. It will happen as a part of our evolutionary timeline. At first probably from ourself and our work to overcome new conditions to live and function. It's been visualized before in movies like Star Wars and Star Trek among others. Different species that can handle different conditions. Just here on Earth we have quite many conditions to reveal what it takes to be able to transform different types of nutritions to life energies. How to produce different chemicals that contain important content for us. The ability to live on dirt, and how to use gases to an advantage. Everything has a DNA map and patterns, or most stuff anyway. There is so many secrets in the nature, and we will be needing all that knowledge in the far future. For sure, we are going to deal with so many new concepts and evolutionary facts that it will be hard for us to understand, why we have even had the issues we have today. Today we have a set of dependencies we are in desperate need of, and tomorrow it might be slightly different. We keep visualizing ourselves as failures when it comes to advanced improvements. Anytime we are picturing us on the movie, we constantly choose to show how we are supposed to do to fail. As if we have never been able to accomplish anything, as we haven't done any major progress at all in our evolutionary timeline. We can never create a full bulletproof system, not in the reality today and not in the reality tomorrow. There will always be exceptions. In other words, relativity is very much a part of us in daily basis as well as in the future. The more we learn and understand of the ecosystem's DNA maps, the more we will respect, and the more serious we will treat it, just like any other area where caution is in place. The more we know and the more we understand, the more we will be able to make correct decisions and take more correct responsibilities about our upcoming evolution. The more we will be able to make sure that the opportunity of life will never end no matter how bad things goes. Today it will all be gone if we don't care enough and care soon enough. That's how bad our choices are today. We are all stuck on the very same planet at the moment. And as mentioned before, the day we have been able to populate another planet is the day when we can start to think about how to deal with big decisions such as eternal life and so new species in order to open new doors and to avoid distinction. It's all there for us, just needs proper understanding and responsibility. We have an eternity of revelation and exploration ahead of us, and that's a lot to deal with. We have to embrace a bigger picture of ourselves. You hear people talking everywhere now today about the Maya Code, the Armageddon, Antichrist, and they all chose to visualize it as a bad event, as a great failure and mass destruction. And we seem to forget that there are just as many positive solutions as well for the next time age we are about to enter. We have simple facts like no matter what our ecosystem of economy is, it will always be divided by the same amount of people. We will have more life quality than ever in matter of time. We have greater opportunities to advance and re-educate ourselves. We would have better financial foundation as well as healthier climate when it comes to factors such as respect and equality, as well as greater control of how we are doing in our very own evolutionary timeline. We would have more time with our children, making sure that our future always has the best foundation there ever is at every moment. We will be able to open doors and realities in our evolutionary timeline that we can't even possibly imagine today, just like we couldn't imagine how for real fly to the moon 200 years ago. Do you now start to see how I use my pen strokes of sentences and colors of relativity? How I slowly paint a picture a little by little, some bits here and some bits there, and constantly let the painting form and shape in relations and directions from anywhere on the yin and yang of good and bad. And why is that so important? Because the more and the greater we can put together scenarios and visualizations of the relations and relativities we live in today in relation to our future possibilities and opportunities, altogether outcomes, and lose-end maps, the better prepared we will be for future evolutionary steps to take. By being able to create complete yin and yangs that we all will be able to visualize into its future, we will be able to create landscapes of relative existence, symbolized with a circle that piece by piece gets filled up with all the colors from the color scale. This way you create very powerful variables that has been used by the Inca people. They used it when they were reading in berries. Only it's not as two-dimensional as it's been presented on paper. And by doing this, we will be able to see not maybe what's the best step is, but many steps enough in order to continue in the best direction. The very same fact. It's not about how long or how much you own in matter. It's not about gods or no gods. It's all part of our truth. It's all part of all life in the very same opportunity. Life is more important than money for all of us. Don't you agree to that? We could actually shape ourselves up quite a lot in relation to quality-wise. We are in great need to start respect our future as it should be. We do need more time for our future, our kids, and we also need more time to be able to stimulate our complete set of needs measured in relation to our today. Quite limited reality due to fear of needing to realize the truth, to wake up and see our time. Our very own lifetime where we live here and now of today. We are also a part of our evolution. We too will develop and change into something different, another life form as continuation of our evolutionary timeline. This step though, the one we are about to take, is more likely to happen and it's complete within a time frame of 15 to 20 years before everything is finished processing of the change into the one world, one language, one ecosystem of finance, one law, and one timeline. Everything might probably be in place by 5 to 10 years, But there is also a need to adjust and correct in order to have been able to complete the agreement in best possible direction, and then to adjust and correct our newly gained lifestyle ourself and all our new systems. This is the estimation it will take from when the change start till the end of it, when everything is in place, not a prediction what the next 20 years will be like. It might as well take 100 years before the change starts to happen, but it might also happen much earlier. The opportunity is already here, and the world isn't getting any younger. And we don't know how close to the point of no return is, but the shape of the world is getting worse every year. It will be hardest for the oldest to adjust to this new situation, but in favor for all generations. We are just as much alive when we are old, young and children. Let us prove our superior abilities to honest, being able to raise above the other animals and take charge of the maintenance of this opportunity in life. When you elaborate with philosophy like this, you might start to see what directional thinking is about, what opposite thinking patterns and fuel and engine thinking is about. When you define in philosophy, it's very different from defining a word. In philosophy, you must be able to keep everything for truth, as well as to be able to claim everything is false. Relations are everywhere in life, time, space, and movement. Life itself is the most advanced and brilliant structure there is. In philosophy, you must accept bad and good as nothing more than two opposite directions. In philosophy, your entire brain is a feature, an ever-developing biologically evolutionary object. The brain is a bloody interesting processor to work with. That there is truth that contains just as much truth, history, and visions, so that all senses becomes important in order to understand what our possibilities have been and what's been done with them, as well as understanding what they are today and what possibilities we have for tomorrow, then also what our possibilities might be from tomorrow to the day after that. By doing it in a way where we all understand and see the truth, we will always be responsible for our very own future. Our very own extremely unique opportunity of life in this part of universe. Isn't it so that we actually are the predator number one on this planet? I'm not arguing with the white shark here, whose anatomy by far is the best predator, but rather as a civilization and flexibility-wise, as creature or species with exceptional adaptation skills, with skills, intelligence, curiosity, and a great appetite and hunger of life. We are darn stubborn creatures. If you think about it, no matter how bad things are, we have gone through evil dictatorships, civil wars, world wars, natural disasters. We have seen empires rise and fall. We have seen civilizations come and go. We have been through plagues and misery. We all have our very own roller coaster that we go through. We get our hearts ripped apart by love. And still, we persist on waking up each and every morning, every day, every week, and every month, year after year, or around 90 in a sort of an average. And every day we continue to claim the need for food, and for thousands of years we have always been driven by our instincts. We have been doing this for so long now, that there is 7 billion of us doing it every day now. That's exactly how great we are in just that, living and existing in life. For hundreds of thousands of years, we have been doing that very phenomenon. That's exactly how dear life is to us. What is it that drives us then? What is it that makes many people enough to take many steps enough and maintain a balance within all this? The cycle is quite simple when you think about it. We all get born. We have a certain amount of time where we live and loads of options, then we finally pass away. There are a few things we can't choose today. Being born is one, and we can't escape death, for now at least. So, throughout our evolutionary timeline, we are walking a slow spiral that actually goes in any direction that we bring it to. So, we all get born, live our life, and then we die. The question was, what is it that drives us doing this rather pointless behavior if you choose to look at it from a distance? It's the stimulation of diversity in this opportunity of life. It's the fact that we are so over-equipped with stimulations reflexes, as well as teasing mechanisms that are all based on our own functionality in our very own life form we exist in. The reason we still do exist is because our nature as the animal human is so advanced and exceptionally clever, it will succeed in existing no matter what path or road we are walking or existing at. Our very own DNA structure has given us opportunities to overcome the impossible, to reveal information from nothing or seemingly nothing, and it's all there. The tricky part is just to figure things out. We have had civilizations that has raised and vanished that used completely different methodologies than what we use today. Science is an area of facts based on the ability of maintaining and supporting knowledge. examining the truths about all physics there is and now metaphysics as well. By realizing that, I'd say that we kind of like life and like to live in it. Even though many people probably realize that there are many things that can be done better in this world. In other words, we already have everything we need and know in order to complete this step. A step of such proportion that it would be our biggest step in evolution up to this day, that is. For the first time in history, we would all be equal before the God of today. Money, that is. Today we have a system that is quite scary when you see it in the big picture. Today people are a bit alienated from modern philosophers, however. Just like near the last 2 centuries has had prophets and philosophers, so will this one, and there will always come more, and new ones, and they too will be able to adjust the roads we chose for the opportunity of life. Life is quite awesome once you start to think about it. Isn't it so that our species in this opportunity are the best ones in making awesome progress? Isn't it cool that we have, for our whole evolution, been able to shape ourselves from the very beginning of our own start of existence? Our visions, our emotions, our fears and horrors, our love and erotica, our hate and despite, our sense of humor, our excellence in existence, our future, our children, all time, now time, tomorrow time, yesterday time. Your life is here and now at all time. We learn from our past, and we are aware about our future. We have, with our visions, mistakes, and fantasies, been able to reach the most incredible inventions or revealing of relative truths. We have been able to compose several religions and isms through our time of existence. We have created and maintained several hundreds of languages. We have invented hundreds of different financial systems. We have explored areas all over our planet as well as started to occupy them. We have built and maintained every road and house you ever lay your eye on. We have built and invented every technological device you ever bought. Everything that you know today is because of ourself and what our ancestors have accomplished. TV is something lots and lots of people have access to today. We all have mobile phones, and we have invented airplanes, boats, cars, motorbikes, balloon ships, and space rockets, all invented and figured out by human beings. No how-to or step-by-step guides in how to invent this or that, or how to reveal and discover this and that. Our species started from scratch, just like every other species have. We must be able to be proud of our nature, proud of how just as different we are to nature, just as different nature is to us. But we should be proud with dignity and a tad of humbleness. Humans are animals just like all other animal life form. We have our conditions in order to exist in this opportunity, just like they have theirs. And what we all have in common, no matter of shape and form or type of life form. We all must have this planet's conditions in order to continue in our opportunity of life. We are all in the same ship. Green life as well as water and air, animal life and insects. We are all built up with cells and DNA structures. We all need some of the conditions more than others, and we all would stop to exist if one of our elements went away. We would also stop to exist if we chose to do nothing, and it will not be a matter of a single factor but several factors in all possible ways. If we don't choose to continue to exist and rather go for a World War III with nuclear, we will also most probably end or reset our opportunity of life on this planet. If we are able to see all the benefits in letting life and evolution, or time itself, being the foundation of our new ecosystem of finance, rather than the one we have today where there is no logical connection anymore in invested time by high productivity and rewards in relation to our existing financial ecosystem, that we in fact already have invented, had in use and maintained for centuries as well. The possibilities that comes with this step is in long time thinking, as in decades/centuries and eternities. Impossible for us to foresee beyond certain points. By calibrating the evolutionary timeline and include the 3 components: past time, now time, and tomorrow time. And by calibrating outcome thinking and loose-ends thinking in compilations of yin and yang variables with opposite engines and their fuels, as well as directional thinking with the designing tools of programming, without limit. Well, the limits of the variables are of course defined, and there is philosophical structure as well. We will be able to run lots of simulations and new types of directional paths that will reveal themselves in same pace as it always has. That is said in relation to universe's own existential timeline, which we never can estimate correctly since we honestly have no single clue of how gigantic, big universe is. Science claims we started to exist by a Big Bang, and that time didn't exist before that. Problem is that, Time has always existed since space. Time has no limit. Time also has its own dimension though, and that dimension we need to explore as well, and white holes represent the zero time point of that dimension. Truth is we have no ideas how many Big Bangs has taken place with different equal much of existence in space and time. If any has, that is. We can't even trace it back to our closest one backwards in time, or at least not to what was before it happened. And with that fact combined with the fact that no matter if we ever find an end in the beginning, we still don't know how many roads there is and is to come. Then we know that our reality will always be relative for eternity. We will need to become far more advanced before we will be able to reveal those knowledges. We are probably by then populating not just other planets but systems as well. And even then we will probably still lack in traces to see some sort of beginning if there ever been one.